Shane Jones, who has come out in the last 24 hours saying that the courts should be the people who deal with illegal fishing, not the court of public opinion, as he announces proposed changes to the quota management system. Well, what are those changes, and why does he think the court of public opinion has been the problem, or interfering, if you like, in fisheries crime? Minister, thank you very much indeed for joining us this morning. Welcome to the platform. What's happening with the quota management system? Is he there? Yep. I can't hear him. We got the photo up. We seem to have had. Oh, okay, he's dropped off the line. Okay. Well, we are sorry. Ben just said you're going to have to stay stuff in between. I was just sitting there waiting for the minister. Okay, and I think we've got him now.
Are you there, mate?
We've got you now. Okay, we just had some sort of technical dropout there. What are the changes that you are proposing to the quota management system, and why do you believe they're important?
Yeah, so the system came in 1986. This is the most comprehensive set of changes. They're driven by an industry working party. Greenpeace has had nothing to do with these changes. They are a threat not only to capitalism, but they're trying to close down the fishing industry so they can trot off and talk to other people. They're not going to get much sway with me. The most controversial area, I mean, let's dive into the deep end of the pool, is how should we treat the footage that the cameras installed on boats. What does it record? I'm fearful that if it falls into the wrong hands, like Sea Shepherd or Greenpeace, it'll be distorted and used to further blight the industry. There is a belief, I think, in some elements of our community that New Zealanders own all the fish in the sea, and they fear that any changes to the quota management regulatory
But
framework...
if they're not doing anything illegal, why should they bother about where the footage goes, Minister?
I actually think that if you support the state surveillance of industry, every cow shed, every egg farm, every house, if an employee is working from home, then your listeners might like that level of totalitarianism. The party I belong to will never ever support.
That's great. So I am presuming that you, as a Minister of the Crown and a senior member of the New Zealand First Caucus, will be moving to remove cameras from supermarkets around the country, and you'll block facial recognition technology that is used to record people who are shopping at supermarkets and in retail stores.
I actually believe that what we've allowed to happen is the pervasiveness of all of the state surveillance without any safeguards or without any privacy considerations, which is why in this discussion document, I don't believe anyone should have access to that footage unless it's necessary.
Yeah, and amazing we're having this conversation on the very morning that footage of a former politician who is now not a public figure, Golriz Garriman, taken on a security camera in a pack and save supermarket is being distributed by our legacy media and other scumbags on the internet all over the place.
But that just proves my point.
Oh, okay.
What is going to happen if this footage falls into the hands of people who are looking for clickbait material and end up destroying the lives of not only business owners,
but the thing is, Sea Shepherd and Greenpeace have got no credibility anyway, and all you'd have to do is say they stole the footage and it's clearly been doctored or moved with. I mean, to be frank, Minister, they could probably use AI now to construct BS footage that would be believed by most people.
Yeah, sadly, not enough people read anymore, and the concentration span is very limited. But look, that's an option that's there in the document. At the deeper point, we have not kept up, I believe, in terms of the state protecting the rights of the citizenry in relation to access to information. But there is an element, mate, that are continually feeding a pot of doubt about the integrity of any industry.
All right.
And
okay.
I'm
So
one of
the
few
proposal
politicians
is that we
stands
just
against
take the cameras off the fishing boats.
I know, sadly, I lost that debate. The
Yeah.
cameras are on the boats, and a host of companies themselves are comfortable with them being there. But what they're not comfortable with is the fishing industry being demonised by one or three random acts which may not be compliant.
Okay. And what is, when we come down to it, what's the change that would make them feel more comfortable?
My preference is to exempt the material from the Official Information Act and
okay.
keep it exclusively with the regulator.
All right, and I reckon that's actually quite a good solution to it, because the Official Information Act can be used by ill-motivated people to create all sorts of campaigns. It can also be used, and I don't use it much as a journalist minister, because if I'm not getting a leak or an inside source and I've got to resort to the Official Information Act, I'm not doing my job properly. But I do see your point. So what you're saying is, keep the cameras there, they keep monitoring, but outside agencies other than the enforcement agency concerned and outside players or individuals or groups wouldn't have access to the footage via the normal provisions of the Official Information Act.
Correct.
Right.
There are issues when our fishing industry, and they're often away for 6 weeks, 4 weeks, 2 or 3 days, depends on the type of fishing activity. So there's some changes that they don't need to bring all the fish back to shore if they want to discard it at sea.
Yeah.
And there's a camera on their boat, just get on with it. So, I mean, I don't want to sort of bore your listeners with those details, but sadly, these granular elements have frustrated the industry since the days of John Luxton. And when he was the fishing minister in the 90s, and at long last they've found a party and a politicians. I mean, I'm very fearful, mate, of making heroic assertions of how we're going to improve the lives of people without there being a ballast of practical intervention behind my rhetoric. And I'm not a sort of politician who leads with my chin without being willing to bear the brunt and bear the weight of actually changing things.
Yeah.